As far as this week is concerned, and before we get started, I want to bring something up. When we talk about dark horses and when we talk about fool's gold players, Jacob, I hope you can agree with me because we've never really talked about this. Yes, can we hit in an ideal world? We can hit on these players every single week. But in reality, they're not called surefire starts of the week because then we're talking about guys like Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. We're not talking about these guys. We're talking about guys that you have legitimate concerns about or legitimate questions about heading into your week's matchups. So we can get the ball rolling. So when I think about it, I don't think about, I have to get a 9 out of 10 on a spelling test because Stephen Joe, I'm applying to a fellow educator here, relating that way. I think about it as a baseball average. Everybody looks at a baseball average and says, wow, he's hitting 347. That's right. You're hitting the ball 3.5 times out of every 10 times you come to the plate. Does that sound good when you say it? No, but it's a good batting average. So for us, when we make these picks, because we've been getting a lot of heat on them, but then we also get praise for the ones we get. You know what? The hate is always so much louder than the praise. Right, Jacob?
Yes, it is. It always is.
And with that being said, that's kind of the approach we take to these. We want to get them right. We do the research to ensure that we think we're going to get them right. But when we aim amongst stars, sometimes we fall amongst the clouds. Okay. So
wow.
As far as on the year, I am 3 for 4. And Jacob is 2 for 4. So it's not bad on dark horses. Let's get into them this week. Jacob, are you ready? I've asked you twice now, so the third time better be the charm.
I'm no longer ready. Just kidding.
Okay, good.
Let's go.
All right, let's get into week 5, dark horses of the week. Jacob, I've been rambling on for so long. Let's start with you. Who is your dark horse heading into week 5 of the fantasy season?
Yeah, it's a guy that we've mentioned quite a few times today, and that is George Pickens of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've been waiting for this moment for several reasons. I knew it's only a matter of time before Kenny Pickett becomes the starter. And a lot of times rookies that come in together, they just become close because they're going through all of those, rookie experiences together on the same team, and a quarterback throws to a wide receiver. So naturally, unless they just don't get along for some reason, naturally these guys are going to bond. And so when it's time for Kenny Pickett to come in the game, it looks like he might have found a favorite target in George Pickens. Now, look, I'm not saying George Pickens is going to supplant the other pass catchers there in Pittsburgh. I don't know why all their names are leaving my mind. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, that's another conversation. I'm completely done with him. But I don't think he's just going to become the number 1 target. But I think he could be the number 2 target there. Him and Pat Freiermuth. And look, we got 8 targets. They weren't all from Kenny Pickett, but all I know is I was watching the game, checking my fantasy lineup. I didn't have him in, but checking my bench, I seen Pickett had 3 fantasy points, and all of a sudden he ends the game with a lot more after Pickett comes in. So I just think naturally he's going to be targeted. And look, they play the Bills, which it's not a Gabe, you're muted, but it's not
it's tough, but it's not
the greatest matchup in the world. But who do you think's going to be leading that game the whole time? Probably the Bills. So who's going to be throwing a lot of this game? The Steelers and Kenny Pickett. And it looks like he likes George Pickens. So I don't know if he's going to be a league winner the rest of the year, but I like him this week because of the game script. So I'm going to go George Pickens.